All right, hi everyone. I'm going to do a quick video for you here today where we're going to look at taking the price oracle that is used by Foxify and using it with indicators that require volume. Because one of the things that you'll find is that the Pith price oracle symbol that's on TradingView does not include volume data. So any indicators that you're trying to use in your TA that require volume will fail. So you have two options with that. You can either use a different symbol, but then your prices may not line up exactly the same as your trading exchange or DEX in this case with Foxify, or you can modify your indicators with some really simple PineScript code so that they pull pricing data from one source and volume data from another. So and that's what we're going to show you how to do. It will require a little bit of PineScript coding, but it's really not that hard, and even if you're not comfortable with doing it yourself, you'll get an understanding of what needs to be done here pretty quickly so that you can ask someone else to do it for you and be able to communicate that. Okay, so let's just jump right in over here. I have a simple chart here, comp, and the big thing to get from this is I've got two indicators on it. As you see, I've got colored candles here, which are basically denoting vector candles, which are high volume candles. So obviously they require volume to render. And I also have a companion indicator that goes along with the screener that we have over at Apex Trading. But the thing I want to call your attention to is the very first item here, which is the MFI. And if you're not familiar with MFI, it's just basically a volume weighted RSI that gives you the relative price strength. But in this case, it takes volume into consideration as well. Okay, so I'm going to switch now to the price oracle used by Foxify. Okay, and one of the things you'll notice is now none of the candles are colored other than the current candle, and that's just because it hasn't. This is actually a red candle at this point because it doesn't color the candle that you're on, but all the historical candles are just gray because it has no volume data to determine which ones were the high volume candles. Also, if you look at the MFI right here, it says NAN, which is not a number because again, there's no volume for it to calculate that. So that's what we're going to fix. But rather than fix it on either of these two indicators, I'm just going to do it on MFI itself, the built-in one, just to keep it simple. Okay, so if I add that indicator in, the money flow index, you notice that there's nothing on this chart, okay, because there's no volume. So if we look at the code for it, it's a very simple indicator. Of course, one of the things that you'll see here, the reason it's so simple is because they encapsulated all the logic for the MFI in version 5 here into this function called ta.mfi. So that's not going to help us because like if you look through this code here, there actually are no references to volume. So we can't replace it if we don't have it there in the code. So instead of using that built-in function, we're going to, I just looked up ta.mfi here, and basically they show you the code that's behind the scenes running to actually do the MFI calculation. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that. I will insert, oops, I need to make a working copy. Okay, I'm going to insert that right there, and we're just going to change this ta.mfi call to be the one that I just pasted in. Okay, it takes the same source and length, but you notice here it actually does reference volume. Okay, so that now we'll be able to actually change and replace it. Next thing I'm going to do, because we want to be maybe able to change instead of hard coding the source of the volume in, I'm just going to create a variable called volume source, and that's going to be an input. And by default, I'm going to let it use the BTC USD index, which I think is something that TradingView calculates, but it's going to be pretty close to most price oracles. And this one does have volume. So we'll do that. Set the title to be volume source. Okay, and then this is the line, the line right here to pay attention to, because this is the one that you'll want to add to your other indicators to get them to work. Okay, so we're going to create a new variable just called vol, and we're going to set that equal to a request.security call, which basically means go out to a different symbol or a different time frame to pull this data. And we want to use whatever we put in for volume source as that. We want to keep the same time frame as the current chart. And then the thing that you want to get, in this case, it's volume. Okay, volume, if you're not familiar with it, that's just a built-in variable in PineScript that basically equates to give me the volume for the current candle that we're processing. Okay, and then down here, wherever throughout your code you previously were referring to volume, you're now just going to refer to this vol, just like that. Okay, so this was the important line. Here we made changes based on what the thing was that we were editing. We also gave it something that's definable, and now I'm going to go ahead and add this to the chart. I'm going to remove this one first so we don't get confused. Okay, add to chart, and this will compile it and add it, and hopefully we don't have any syntactical errors. Being a little pokey this morning, sorry. Okay, there we go. And so now you see the same indicator basically we had before, but now we have an MFI because it's using the price data from this symbol, which is our PIF price oracle, but it's using the volume data from the BTC USD index. Okay, and so it's working. Now, the last thing I would say might be useful to do to this is, in order to be able to use this indicator with a chart that does have volume data, what you might want to do is create a condition here. So we might check to see if volume, which I'm wrapping in NZ, which will make it so that it doesn't crash if it has no value, and set it to 0. If that's equal to 0, then that means we don't have volume data, and we'll go ahead and do this. Otherwise, just return volume. Okay, so again, I'm going to update that on the chart just to make sure it still works. Okay, and it does. And so basically, this is using index now, but if I switch to something that actually does have volume, like let's say this Coinbase spot BTF or BTC, this MFI is now using the volume data that's already built into this chart as opposed to the index. Okay, so in this case, it wouldn't really matter if I change this volume source to anything else. So in fact, watch, if I change it to the PIF one, which we know has no volume, okay, right? It doesn't affect it because it's not actually using that setting. It's using this volume. But again, now if we go back to this chart, okay, now we're back to no chart again because we're using price and volume data from the same place. So again, we go back here and we fix this. And maybe we don't want to use the index. Maybe we would like to use the Binance futures, since that has the most volume of anywhere. There we go. And so we have a chart. So sorry, I just wanted to keep this really quick and show you how you can actually split your indicators so that they use price and volume from different places. I think this will be very useful if you're using charts or dexes such as the Foxify Price Oracle, which would also apply to Vela or GMX. I don't know about Apex Pro. I think they don't have any published charts yet. I always just use Bybit for that chart anyway, because it's basically the same. Okay, so that will be all. Hope you learned something from this, and let me know if there's other things that you have questions about or like to learn about as related to Foxify or other things like that. And maybe if you want to catch me online, I'll usually either in the Foxify, the MDB, or the Apex Trades Discord. Okay, thanks so much. Have a good day.